This news update is brought to you by...
From rom-coms to dramatic tearjerkers and hit action movies, video on demand from Flow's got what you need, baby. Spend some we time tonight. Oh yeah. Simply press the VOD button on your Flow remote. This is how we do TV. This is how we flow.
It's Wednesday, February the 24th, 2016, and this is your Barbados Today morning news update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. In our top story, the just-released public opinion poll, which shows that 62% of Barbadians want a change of government, may be encouraging news for the Opposition Barbados Labour Party, but not so for the Front Stewart-led ruling Democratic Labour Party administration. In a press statement last evening, DLP General Secretary George Pilgrim sought to rubbish its findings, saying based on his initial analysis of the Systematic Marketing and Research Services Inc. survey, there were many shortcomings both in terms of its methodology and results. Stating that the poll's methodology failed to outline how the 90 districts were selected, he argued that it would be easy to get the findings to favor the opposition by simply going into BLP strongholds and skewing the final results. However, outspoken Government Minister Donville Innes was less dismissive of the poll's results. In a brief comment to Barbados Today on the findings, Innes said both the governing DLP and the opposition BLP had their work cut out for them. In terms of seeking to reclaim lost ground, the support for the electorate, with only 20% of those polls indicating support for the Stewart administration, the poll suggests that it will not be in the best interest of the ruling DLP to call a general election anytime soon. Yesterday, BLP General Secretary Dr. Jerome Walcott also reacted to the results, saying though they were encouraging, the party was not moved as such. Walcott argued that the poll was simply a reflection of what was happening in the society at the particular time. Don't write off a possible re-emergence of the People's Empowerment Party, PEP, led by attorney-at-law and social and political activist David Commershong. While he was not in a position yesterday to make an informed comment on the results of the latest public opinion poll, which was published by Barbados Today on Monday, Commershong said there was always a chance of the PEP becoming active again in response to the current dissatisfaction in the country. However, he said a lot of thought would have to be given to revival of the party, and there would need to be a real call from Barbadians for it.
Very conscious of the precarious position that Barbados finds itself in, and the fact that all of us have a duty to do whatever we can to come to the assistance of our country. I am very, very conscious of the fact that that my generation must not be the one to let down this country and to neglect to do our part to take Barbados forward. When we look at some of the outstanding work done by predecessor generations, I'm very concerned about whether my generation is fulfilling its historic duty.
Women's rights advocate Marilyn Rice-Bowen is calling for the introduction of a sexual offenders registry here, allowing Barbadians easy access to information on convicted rapists and pedophiles. Rice-Bowen said a registry was the ideal way to monitor sexual deviance and to protect children. She spoke to Barbados Today in the wake of Saturday's discovery at a man's house of 5 girls between the ages of 14 and 15 who had been reported missing after failing to return home from school the previous day. A 6th girl from the same school was found at a different venue. The man insisted he was not aware that the girls had been missing and that they had arrived at his home about half an hour before the police arrived there. Rice-Bowen expressed outrage at the development and linked the girls' truancy to sexually deviant behavior by adults. Now, meanwhile, the Royal Barbados Police Force has issued a stern warning that it would adopt a zero tolerance towards persons who harbor children reported missing are people who engage in sexual relations with juveniles. Public Relations Officer Acting Assistant Superintendent David Welch warned that there are strict laws forbidding sex with underage children or providing refuge for those who run away from home, and those caught violating any of these laws would be placed before the courts. There has been a dramatic jump in the number of suspected cases of Zika here. However, health officials said there has not been a rise in the number of confirmed cases. Acting Senior Medical Officer for Environmental Health and Surveillance, Dr. Arthur Phillips, has revealed that there were 268 suspected cases, the majority of which had not been tested. He also said that although the jury was still out on the Zika being contracted through sex, Barbados is still testing all mothers-to-be.
We're saying all the pregnant women will be tested. Or referred otherwise. Out of the 7 confirmed cases, we know that 3 of them would have been pregnant individuals. Right. Out of the 268, I don't have any information that indicates that there are other pregnant women in there, but certainly as that information comes up, we would have it.
In sports now, title holders Fusion Boutique Juniors are among the teams through to the knockout round of the Barbados Cricket Supplies Under-13 competition. In the quarterfinals on March the 6th, they will travel to Bayfield, St. Philip to meet Co-Operators General Insurance St. Catherine Juniors. Last year's losing finalist Police Juniors clashed with unbeaten Franklin Stevenson Academy at Bennett's. Counterpoint Wanderers host Royal Bank of Canada St. Philip Juniors at Darrell's, and Isolation Cavaliers Juniors entertain Carlton Juniors in KMV Oval. The semi-finals are slated for March the 13th, and the grand final will be on Sunday, March the 20th.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Hey, well, when you know when you see me, it's R.R.S.P time again. And the theme this year is Grow, Sell, Eat, Repeat from February the 26th to the 28th. Come and see the livestock, dog show, Joran Chef Cook-Off, children's play park, puppetry and storytelling, even the comedy segment. So bring your clean joke and come. Enough entertainment, a tribute to Barbados by Gabby, a tribute to Joseph Knife, and Lover are going to be there. Are you looking for one here? R.R.S.P, I'm going to sell my things that I grow, and I'm going to eat some too. Are you looking for one here? See one.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter, that's the move for me. Stability, prosperity, we're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
Turning now to news from the region, a crime expert in Trinidad warns that violence in schools will continue to get worse. The criminologist Renee Cummins says the issue will keep recurring until proper policies are implemented. Cummins said Trinidad overlooks the data and keeps coming up with ideas that just don't work.
We've got to ask ourselves, who's designing the policy, who's implementing the policy. I mean, at this stage, we should have already have an arm of our Trinidad and Tobago Police Service that treats with youth-centered policing, school-based policing, because we should appreciate that when it comes to youth violence, you are treating with issues such as developmental psychology, adolescent psychology, neuropsychology, disabilities, special education, mental health issues.
On the international scene, strong evidence that the Zika virus is sexually transmitted fairly often has emerged, with 14 more people in the United States now reported to have caught the disease without traveling to affected zones. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says some of those infected sexually have been pregnant women. In 2 of the new suspected sexual transmission events, Zika virus infection has been confirmed in women whose only known risk factor was sexual contact with an all-male partner who had recently traveled to an area with local Zika virus. Transmission testing for the male partners is still pending. And that's news and sports. However, you can join us again this afternoon for more. Until then, remember to log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also tune into channel 101 on Floor TV and to Mix 96.9 FM to get all the latest news and sports. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.